Welcome back to the weekly wraparound. I'm Andrew McDougall, joined by Gordon Goodenough, the two familiar faces. This is Hockey Hype Australia. You can find us at hockeyhypeaustralia.com.au, on the socials at Hockey Hype AUS. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. As we always say every single week, it helps us grow, but it helps the sport grow. So tell your neighbors, tell your grandparents, sign your dog up to YouTube and get them to subscribe as well. GG, what's going on?
Good evening, Phil Taylor. Phil Taylor took some spectacular photos over the weekend. I'm going well. It was a pretty wild weekend of hockey that we're gonna dissect. But yeah, going pretty good.
Do you reckon Phil does it on purpose? He wants to be the first person to comment in there, or you reckon that's what Phil's going for?
I don't know. I mean, Phil's the only one that could tell you that. I reckon. He's got a good sense of humor, Phil. He sent me through this picture that he took from the Melbourne Ice Adelaide Rush game, where one of the players threw their stick at Ashley Aparicio to try to stop her opportunity. And he had the caption, what was it? Tell me you're not hearing Austin Powers' voice saying, "Who throws a stick?" Honestly. So it was a good call. Phil with the goods, just want you to know someone is watching. That is much appreciated. That is much appreciated.
Yeah, so we know Phil's watching. So that's it for the weekly wraparound this week. We know Phil's watching. So he's like, no, I'm only joking. You've got a bit of a flex going on there, GG, with the sweater that you've got on.
Look, like, I'm neutral, and we've talked about this. We're both neutral, but I did get last season. I did get one of the Perth Inferno did a great initiative with the Western Australia Cancer Council, and I got a signed Michelle Clark-Crumpton jersey. And Michelle Clark-Crumpton is at the top of the points leaderboard this after the weekend, according to Esports Desk. That's a massive asterisk that I have to place at the beginning of that sentence. But yes, so just wearing my MCC jersey. You've got your Queen of the South jersey on?
Yeah, I certainly do, mate. I've my friends in which way am I going? Yeah, my friends in Scotland would be happy if they tune in to this live stream or they check it out. A few of my friends over there in Dumfries are actually Solway Sharks fans too, so they're ice hockey fans as well as Queen of the South. But we've gone 4 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw in the last 7, so we're turning it around, and we won 2-0 on the weekend. So I'm rocking. It's not ice hockey, but I'm rocking a jersey nonetheless. And Clark Crumpton, and we'll probably talk about that later on, a 7-point weekend and a 7-game point streak as well is just phenomenal. So it's a good jersey to pick for tonight.
Yeah, well, it was either this or just a polo shirt. You sold me. I was like, with 2 minutes to go, I'm like, I got to change. I got to put a jersey on. Should I put a Perth one on, or will people think I'm biased? But, well. Just a comment from Andrew Egan in the chat, which is not coming up for me. Yeah. Paisley Pirates fans are filthy with you. So just
it's always Andrew with the obscure hockey teams around the world, isn't it? I know exactly who he's talking about. You want to get into it, GG? We got no guests.
Yeah,
we got no guests tonight, dude. Well, it's just me and you.
I thought I was the guest. My heart is breaking. No, it's 4 games. We're gonna get into a bit of detail with the games. So no time for a guess. Next week, we're trying to set up. Michaela Fellows, the commissioner, reached out, asked if she could talk about the deal that the league has with Skaters Network and Bauer. I know some people may have some questions about that, so she's going to come on and she's seeing if she can get someone to come on as well from Skaters Network at the same time. So we might have a double guest next week, and the guests really suit when there's only 2 games on instead of 4 on the weekend, just so that we have a bit more time. But yeah, let's get into it.
And why wouldn't you want to come on the #1 hockey show in Australia and lay it all out in detail? I didn't know about we're going into detail tonight, so that's nice to know before we get underway, GG. But what we'll look at first is we'll look at the standings after week 9 of competition. If you want to run through those, GG.
Yeah, so the Melbourne Ice at the top after a series split with the Adelaide Rush. Adelaide Rush stay in a second. The Perth Inferno third on 22 points. So just 3 points separating the top 3. Brisbane Lightning watching from home, still on 11. They take on the Sydney Sirens, who got their first win of the season against the Perth Inferno in Perth at Coburn Ice Arena. So congratulations to them. We'll talk about that a bit more. But one thing, I don't know if you've got the banner. After the weekend's action, prior to the weekend, no one had mathematically clinched a final spot. By the end of the weekend, the top 3 have all clinched a final spot. The Sydney Sirens have their fate in their own hands. They play the Brisbane Lightning 4 times over the next 4 games. However, if the Brisbane Lightning sweep the series this weekend, the Brisbane Lightning will clinch that final playoff spot. So there you go.
Stranger things have happened in sport. Could you imagine if the Sirens just fly home with a wet sail?
Well, I don't want to, toot my own horn here, but I did say earlier in the season that I could see potentially the Sirens putting it together and putting together a little bit of a win streak. And after the game on Saturday, after the Inferno won, but the Sirens really battled back after being down 7-3, they came back to make it 7-5. I said that the Sydney Sirens will win a game, this season and will win it pretty soon. And the next day they, took home the spoils. So yeah, who knows? I mean, I just think it's a great experience for the young team. So yeah, it's good hockey.
And as we've seen with the NHL last year and Florida, it's once you get in, who knows?
Yeah, don't mention Florida. Don't mention Florida. We want Florida.
Yes, that was good times. Good times. But you never know. If you just got to get in there, that's all you have to do. You just got to get in there. Doesn't matter how you get in there, just get in.
Every team has a goaltender that can steal a game, right? So that's all you need. You just need a goaltender to get hot. It's one weekend, 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The first. So we'll kick off the ticket, and I reckon we have your beautiful siren sounded. These are all GG's topic names tonight. So the first one is a Sydney Sirens. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's out of order. This is a Sunday game. You've bolted too quickly. Were we going to talk about Saturday? But we can talk about Sunday's game first.
Well, I've only got 4 topics or 5 topics because that's all you gave me. You didn't give me Saturday. Or did you want me to go full noddle? Is that what it was?
Well, yeah, just if we were doing them in order, but it doesn't really matter. We can talk about Siren Sounded. Let's do this one.
And then I just figured we'd go Sirens and then Inferno, then Rush, then Ice, and then preview the next week.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. So yeah, Sydney Sirens winning the first game of the season. Let us know too. Give us your thoughts on the weekend's action in the chat. Big plays, big goals. There were plenty of them over the weekend. On Saturday, Sarah Edney had like a sensational hat trick. Was flipping unreal. But one goal that I know that you really liked, and it was her debut. Well, her maiden AWIHL goal. Jessica Borg. Shall we play that
It
one?
would. Yeah, we can play that. The Sirens fell to the Inferno 7-5 on Saturday and then beat the Inferno 5-4 on Sunday. We called both of them. We'll play the clip. What I love about this clip too is I don't know what you were doing, Gordon, in the lead up to the goal. You were just
We
sort
were
of waffling.
doing
You
one of
were
those
just
1,000 ad reads that.
But it was it was a great goal nonetheless.
Pilates, Coburn. Big shout out to them. Big shout out to the sponsors for the league. And the Sirens, I believe, had a travelling sponsor as well as what a beautiful goal scored by Jessica Borg. Picks a corner, top biscuit. What a snipe.
What a goal, Gordon. Calabria breaks free, gets the blue line, passes it off, and Paul just buries it. Top shot. Great work there, GG. It was a good goal.
Just a minute. Replays are sponsored by Carmen's Roasted Nut Bar. Go to carmens.com.au for all your. Yep, sorry.
It was a great goal. It really was. It was Calabria, who people talk about Calabria all the time, her skating and her ability on both sides of the puck. But Borg, that goal, I don't know who the defender was for the Inferno that was coming across, but Borg was sort of leaning to her right, firing it away, had a defender coming across to check and get the stick in there, and was able to just bury it. It was just an unbelievable goal. And for your first goal, it's imagine scoring something like that for your first goal. And then I think what topped it off as well was the Sally. Like just going, yeah. Phil just chucked it in the
Phil
chat.
Taylor, great Sally too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what really was like, yeah, this is a good goal. Just a Sally as well. Unbelievable.
Yeah. No, it was a beauty, a real beauty. And Borg has been great. Like she's stood out. I know in the Sirens games that we've covered in Calabria, with the setup, what a play by Calabria. So congrats to Jessica Borg. Nikita Horvat also scored her first AWHL goal earlier in that game. So, these are good little moments that the team can kind of get around and bring them together. And like I remember covering the Sydney Swans AFLW team in their first season, and they didn't win a game. And talking to Coach Scott Gowans about how do you keep the room, happy and upbeat and et cetera, et cetera. And it's finding little victories within the game to be able to celebrate as a team. And those were two that carried over to Sunday's performance.
Yeah, we've just got a comment too in the Instagram live. Have you guys been drinking from the Adelaide Rush account? So, no, I haven't. Gordon's on the water, and he's on mute as well. So he does that a lot.
Yeah, I'm on the water. I'm on the water.
We've spoken about Sydney a fair bit across the season, and how much they were actually in games. They were always in games, and they were always close. And then before the games on Saturday, when we were doing a little pre-game before the puck dropped, we spoke about them in Melbourne as well and how they jumped out on the ice. And they just been battling. And they showed that again on Saturday, and they weren't able to get the result. But then they come out on Sunday, and they got the result on Sunday. And I was really wrapped for them as well. And it was that second period for the Sirens on the Sunday that really set up their win. Stephanie Newmark with a hat trick as well on the Sunday, just scoring 3 unanswered goals in that second period. So I was really rapt to see the Sirens finally get a win.
And Sarah Edney tripled her assist total on the Sunday too. She got a couple of assists and scored. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have esports desk open, but I think she scored that goal early in the third period to make it a 5-2 game. And I think that just because Perth were coming, at the end of the game, they were clawing their way back and just fell short. That was a vital goal by Edney.
Yeah, 100%. And someone I think that we should talk about as well was Ella Lakari, who I felt was absolutely superb for the Sirens across the entire weekend, coming up with some really clutch saves in important moments. And I know that you love the one save we've got here on the footage. It was pretty cool, sort of dropping the double pads. You did call it well. This one you did call beautifully, GG. But Ella Lakari was unreal on the weekend.
I think if you're the Inferno, you don't mind a defensive zone face-off because it gives you more runway for their speed game. As Salmons just chips it along the boards, back up to Scala, and Salmons will go to the net. Here's an opportunity on the break. What a save by Lakari! Doubles the pads and stops Salmons.
So Lakari on the weekend saved 24 of 30 on Saturday and then 36 of 40 on the Sunday and picked up the win on the Sunday. Had a save percentage of over 900 on the Sunday, and it's the first time she's done that this season. So it was absolutely superb.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and we've seen some spectacular saves from Lakari. We've spoken about that, but just to keep the team in the game, even on the Saturday. Shout out to Emma Moonen, who also made an appearance, made a good glove save as well. So getting some work in and some confidence, hopefully. But yeah, good on Lakari for making the save. I mean, such a big. Just a big body in net, but able to use the frame well, and they took a win. Well done.
I was really impressed with Gabby Arps on the weekend as well. I actually thought she was superb on the blue line for the Sirens. Was doing a really solid job getting back defensively. Just there was a couple of times across the weekend where the Inferno looked to break, and Arps would just track back and get a stick in at the right time. All that sort of stuff. I thought Arps was really, really good.
Yeah, and considering Sydney was missing Lily Roberts and Fiona Moon for the weekend, although Fiona Moon did travel with the team, was on the bench, not dressed, wasn't able to play, but was still able to provide some advice and encouragement for the D group. Like those are two big losses, or on the blue line. But I similarly, I was impressed. I was impressed by Samantha Winder as well. He scored a goal on the Sunday.
Yep.
So it was very impressive. Very impressive.
If you've got any comments on the weekend of what you've seen from the games, drop them in the chat on Facebook, YouTube. We're checking out the Instagram as well. If you've got comments, drop them in there as well. Anything else with the Sirens, Gordon, you wanted to touch on?
One of the players, and she was the one, I think, fittingly, that held the puck against the boards when the final buzzer sounded. Julia Pacchini may not appear on the score sheet, but I know you're a big fan, Dukes.
Yeah, and I did say on the coverage, if you're picking a team like you would when you're at primary school, when you'd pick your teams to play a sport at school, and if Julia Pacchini was there in the lineup, I think I would pick Julia Pacchini every single time, like first, if that would be my first player to pick, because it's just both sides of the puck. Like doesn't get rewarded on the stat sheet. like a lot of these other players do in the competition, but just the hard work and just the battling and the work that she does along the boards on the forecheck, especially to provide opportunities for Edney and players like that. Like it doesn't go unnoticed for me, and that's the stuff that I love. I love the hard-working two-way players like Bikini, and had another great weekend.
Yeah, no, vital piece of that team for sure.
The Inferno. You mentioned to me, Gigi, on the weekend that they haven't swept a home series yet, and this weekend was the same again. I think they've swept 2 away series this weekend. They're yet to sweep a home weekend, and they split this one against the Sirens, and they sit third on the standing. So it's quite bunched up in that top 3. What did you see from the Inferno this weekend?
Look, I thought there were a few players that stood out. One of them was Marina Noddle. Just her stick handling ability. I mean, maybe as a coach, you might get a bit concerned when she's skating the puck out in front of your own net, but she's got such good stick handling ability. And scored a goal on the Saturday as well, an important goal. Is a very good player. A few other players. I mean, I just put that in for the pun, really. Full Noddle, full throttle. Puns are best when you have to explain them. But Molly Lakoviak scored another beauty on the Saturday, and Ashley Hayes and One Shot Sports Media has captured a beautiful sequence, which we'll post up later this week, just of a deke, the snipe and the celly. She also set up Christina Acker, who still had a bit to do on the finish, for a beautiful goal, holding off the defender with one arm, showing great strength. We've talked about Lakoviak, and Michelle Clark-Crumpton scored her 50th goal of AWHL career goal on the Saturday, and of course, as we mentioned earlier, is the points leader. So some big, contributions across the weekend. I was impressed by Shepard did well holding the blue line multiple times. Zoe Webb seems to be improving game by game, like just getting that confidence to be able to go up into the offensive zone and pinch and as needed. Georgia McClellan, superstar, like you can go on and on with this team. And Vivian Vu made some good saves on the Saturday to be able to take her second career AWIHL win. So there's a lot of bright spots for the Inferno. I know, having talked with head coach Graham Hyde in the past, consistency to him has been the issue, where they can put up big performances, but it's just backing it up. So we'll see as the season progresses how that goes. But yeah, I think if you're an Inferno fan, you've got plenty to look forward to for finals.
Vu saved 41 of 46 shots on Saturday to get the win. We mentioned it off the top. Michelle Clark-Crumpton, who, according to Esports Desk, is the points leader for the competition, had a massive weekend, 7 points across the entire weekend. On Saturday, 2 goals, 2 assists. And then on the Sunday, 1 goal, 2 assists. I felt like, and I remember talking to you about it in the past couple of weeks, it felt like she'd gone a little bit quiet in terms of goal scoring, but she showed up on the weekend, didn't she? Like, you can't keep talent like that down for too long. Like, and it's something that I don't think, like, when you look across all the teams, I don't think a lot of teams have the quality like they've got with Clark-Crumpton.
Yeah, what a player, right? Both for the women's team, like, the tournaments where I remember that tournament in 2020, I think, in Iceland, where we should have been promoted, but COVID happened and we didn't get promoted. And she had like 9 goals, 2 assists, like just puts up ridiculous numbers for the national team, puts up ridiculous numbers for whatever AWHL team she's playing for. So yeah, just a real icon for the sport.
And I know we spoke about, you mentioned Julia Bikini as well. And one of the players that you just touched on before on the Saturday was Christina Acker in that goal and picking up 3 points on the Saturday. Acker's another player that doesn't get those stat sheets, the goals and the assists all over the stat sheets, but a two-way player, God, it's like just leading by example, and it's what we mentioned on the coverage as well. It's someone, obviously the captain of the Inferno, and if you want a captain and someone to lead by example and show the way and show this is to win and to win finals and big games, this is the what's the word? This is how you need to go about your business out on the ice.
Yeah, no, definitely, and we've talked to Graham about that line, and when there's no injuries, it's traditionally Scala, Michelle Clark-Crumpton, Christina Blair Acker, and just he's raves about what Acker brings to that line and that group, and working so hard and battling. We saw it again over the weekend with the battles, and then the finish too, the offensive finish. That was a key goal at the time, to get them back into the game. So yeah, absolutely.
And they were missing Scala on the Saturday, and they got Scala back on the Sunday. They're also missing Isla Malcolm as well. So someone like Malcolm coming back into the team will really boost the Inferno, not just her play with the puck, but it's just a bigger body, another big body as well. And we've seen what Isla Malcolm has been able to do to start the season.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens. I hope Malcolm, is okay and is able to return. I'm not, these players have. We can't delve too deep because they've, they may wish to maintain their privacy. We have no idea what's going on. We can't speculate, but she's certainly a valuable player on the team, and Graham Hutt loves her combativeness and the speed she brings. I think she's like real has the North American kind of style of play, real north south.
Yeah. Next on the ticket, Rush iced. So the Adelaide Rush, they did travel to Melbourne to face the Melbourne Ice at O'Brien. The Saturday game was a 3-2 win to the Ice, and then the Rush beat the Ice 5-2 on the Sunday game. I think if you're the Adelaide Rush, if you're able to come and get a split against the Ice in Melbourne, I think you're walking away pretty happy with the weekend's results.
I think the Rush will be disappointed not to bring back all six. I think like you look at the game on Saturday, and the Rush really took it to the Ice. Phil Taylor's going to back me up, my personal hype person. Rush were very impressive. So Phil Taylor got a couple of beautiful shots. One of I think they were both in the first period, where Sierra Moroniuk put the puck through Janelle Carson 5-hole, but it went wide. And then another shot, I forget who it was, that hit the post and stayed out. And then, of course, Melbourne, full credit to them. Janelle Carson was sensational. But the Rush looked like the 2019-20 Rush, just being able to dominate the shot share, and real. I had a chat with Phil about this, Phil Taylor, the other day. The real in your face kind of hockey. It was a big weekend. Full credit to Melbourne for gutting out that win, though. That's what championship teams do on the Saturday. Despite everything, managed to hold on for the 3-2 win. Andrew Egan, speed from the rush really telling, crisp passing, super impressive.
And that Saturday game, the between the Ice and the Rush, the Melbourne Ice, Carson faced over 40 shots and Archie Smith over 30, both put up plus 900 save percentage. So between the two goaltenders, unbelievable. And we know that these two teams are stacked with goal in the goaltending department.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, I believe, one of the goals from Adelaide.
Do you want to show the save first, or you want to go with the goal?
Well, the save was from Sundays.
All right, so we'll go with the goal. Gordon's pulled rank.
Great work by Venus. Here's Petrowski. Petrowski with some fancy work getting around. What a goal by Petrowski! That was unbelievable. She worked her way through traffic and then put it in the top shelf. That, my friends, is one of the goals of the season. Unbelievable work from Petrowski. She is cementing her position in this league early. It's only her third A-dub start and she already has 4 goals to her name. And Petrowski single-handedly trying to put this Adelaide Rush team on her back and lead them to victory here. Let's have a look at this on the Skaters Network replay. Got around in traffic and then bang! Straight to the back of the net. Unbelievable.
That's a tidy finish. It really is. That's a real
Good call
tidy
from
finish.
Todd. Good call from Todd Morris too on that one. But yeah, Regan Petrowski, she's scored 4 goals, 2 on the forehand from the right face-off dot, and 2 with the backhand from about that same home plate area. Yeah, when you look at the Adelaide Rush imports that they have this season, obviously you've got Maya Tupper and Regan Petrowski, Sierra Moroniuk, and then you've got Madeline Langevin, who I believe was studying in Adelaide and tried out for the team, and head coach Jerry McDougall was pleasantly surprised with. Like, they've got a really impressive group of imports.
And it's like we spoke about, it almost seems every week now, we're like, okay, this is a goal of the season contender. This is a goal of the season contender. And then Regan Petrowski just arrives on the scene, third game into her AWIHL career, and just pulls out, okay, here's a goal of the season contender for you.
Yeah, probably hasn't unpacked all her bags yet, but is just popping in goals like you wouldn't believe. It's real fun to watch. Like, it is fun to watch. And I think, for the players, and we've talked with head coach Matt Meyer last week about this, like the impact that having someone like an Emma Wuthridge, who's played college hockey and professional hockey, the impact that has on other players is massive. So I think it's a really good thing for the league. We've got Sean O'Connor. Is Hockey Hype Australia going to run a goal of the season poll at the end of the season? Maybe. We're overworked and underpaid. Well, we're not even paid. But yeah, we would definitely love to. Do a goal of the season, and we need a save of the season. Phil Taylor, 100%. I agree. Yeah, that would be great. It's just that they don't. It's harder to get those clips. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do on our budget.
Well, if anyone's out there and listening or watching and they want to get involved with Hockey Hype Australia, come and sponsor Goal of the Season and Save of the Season. We can look after you, give something back to the hockey community. One of the other players I wanted to bring up from the weekend, GG, was Tori Cebulski. Cebulski was absolutely massive on the Sunday for the Rush. Snapped had only scored prior to Sunday, had only scored 1 goal in like 8 games or something like that. and then come up huge on the Sunday with 2 goals and 1 assist for the Rush. We know how Cebulski is just like a young, exciting talent, and we've seen Cebulski on home ice as well produce some massive goals. But when the Rush needed someone to stand up and make some big plays and score some big goals, it was a 17-year-old doing it once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been very impressive. So I think, the lines have been kind of mixed around a little bit. I'm not sure. Tash Ferrier hasn't played the last 2 weekends, but generally she's on a line with Tash Ferrier. So yeah, I don't know whether it's just settling in with new line mates, but yeah, made some big contributions for sure. For the Rush. That I do need to give a shout out to from the Saturday game. Beautiful goal from Danielle Butler. That was an absolute bullet. I wasn't sure if it went in at first, but I'm pretty sure it went in behind the line. And then the penalty shot goal by Shana Godfrey. I mean, I didn't think it was a penalty shot because I thought Maya Tucker had cleanly stick checked her. I'm going to get people yelling at me, but our referees, had a better view. But yeah, it was a fantastic taken penalty shot by Shana Godfrey too, and Neela Brenning scoring. Neela Brenning is looking really good for the Melbourne Ice.
We did speak about the goaltenders earlier, and you loaded up this save. It was an unbelievable save, and we'll chuck it up.
Cochrane collecting the rebound. Cochrane sent it in. Smith with a save. Godfrey tried the backhander. What a save there by Archie Smith to catch that in the glove. Unbelievable.
What a save.
Yeah.
It's crazy because we always talk, we talked to Sarah Doramaja about these goaltenders that are coming through the system, and Archie Smith at 18 years of age is just pulling out ridiculous saves. We say this a lot, but it's so exciting to see these goaltenders in both the men's and the women's competitions coming through.
Yeah, no, and I think the Adelaide Rush posted about that they have the best goaltending coach, I think, in the league. And there's a few goaltending coaches I know. I don't want to upset people, but certainly Jeremy Friedrich has been working wonders over in Adelaide with both Archie Smith and Amelia Knott. So yeah, it's credit to them, and it's nice to see the support between AIHL and AWIHL clubs too, with both personnel and other operational support too.
Yeah, one of the things that, just before we move on from the ice, one of the things you mentioned, GG, that sort of raised your eyebrows a little bit, and we obviously don't know how situations work, and a lot of coaches will run with a hot hand, but Amelia Knott didn't get a start on the weekend for the Rush as well.
Yeah, I mean, they went with Archie Smith back to back, and I know I'd seen a post from somewhere that last weekend Amelia Knott was jet lagged from playing in Jaca in Spain. So yeah, I mean, I thought it would be a split, but it has been, I think, all season. But yeah, I mean, Archie Smith won. So how can you criticize that one, and played brilliantly on the Saturday in a loss? We've just got a comment from Sarah Doramaja. I know I like boring goalies, and you guys have mentioned it a number of times, but for real, the saves they do make demonstrate athleticism. And yes, Freddie is an amazing goalie coach.
I wonder if that's why Sarah tunes in to us, because we're two boring hosts. But we will move on to the ice, who, as we just spoke about with the Rush, they're sitting on top still, the Melbourne Ice. They split the weekend. with the rush. What did you see from the ice on the weekend, GG?
Yeah, so I mean the Saturday just being able to get out that win. Sunday they were in it. I think I mean Adelaide just kept on. They were coming in waves, right? Like it was just relentless from Adelaide. I think the ice is certainly missing Christina Julien, and missing some other players. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the season. I'm just looking at some comments. Sorry, from the chat. Sarah, ha ha ha! I love you guys. Not boring at all. You guys are filling a market. We're super appreciative. I can't watch all the games, so this recap fills me in on what I missed. Thank you, Sarah. And then Sean O'Connor, new quote graphic coming to HHA tonight. 2 boring hosts. Don't miss it. Thank you, Sean. But yeah, I mean, Melbourne, we've said all season that they were going to be kind of around there or thereabouts come, the end of the season, around the top, looking at the strength of the roster. Kayla Best will bounce back after that, after the Sunday, but they've got 3 great goalies as well, with Best, Carson, and Piers. I was surprised that Piers didn't play this weekend, just as I was surprised that Knott didn't. But I mean, 3 goalies, one of them's got to sit.
Well, they faced roughly about 80 shots between the 2 games, so that's a fair workout.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There was a pretty wild play that you've uploaded from Aparicio. It's desperation stuff, and it's so cool. I'll load it up now, but it's inches stuff, isn't it? It's everything's a game of inches, and this sort of stuff is what you love to see as a coach, as a fan. And I can't imagine, if you're out on the ice, what sort of reception you get from your teammates as well.
If they score, it's unlikely for them to score another 3 goals. However, here's Marinook, empty net. Great save in the end by Aparicio.
When you think about the games already, it's basically put to bed, and you're still getting that sort of stuff. That's someone who's buying into what you're trying to achieve at the Melbourne Ice.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Ashley Aparicio a lot, because she's so vital to what this Melbourne Ice team does, and is going to be a big part of their success. Just never quits. Smart player, loves those apples. So yeah, just phenomenal. I'm gonna go back because I didn't bring up this comment earlier because I knew what was coming. Smith's glove save on Sunday was class, highlight reel stuff. Then later in the game, the diving stop from ice defender on the empty net. Brilliant plays. That was from Andrew Egan. I loaded those 2 up specifically for you, mate. And then Andrew, bit out of sorts on Sunday for the ice. Adelaide really tested them. Joe Phyllis confirming that Knott is ready to go. So that's good news. Andrew Egan again on that play. Desperation, glorious stuff. That's the takeaway from the loss. Melbourne Ice women's team have made a comment. Ran through a wall after that play. Yeah, I'll bet absolutely. And even Christian Knott, apps for save of the year. Recognizes game there. So yeah, that was a big play. I mean, they were down 5-2, but just that never quit. Yeah, just chills. Gives you chills, doesn't it?
It's the sort of stuff where, when you think about it, like, you don't have to make that play really. At the end of the day, you could let them put the puck in the net. There's not long to go. Just go, okay, they've got one. But I think it's a really good sign of a player. And we know, like, we've talking about Aparicio enough, working hard both ways, and it just seems just no quit. There's no quit on every play. Yeah,
no, 100%. Yeah, when you think of the Melbourne Ice and the team, you like, I can't imagine them without Ashley Aparicio. She's just such a big part of that group. And she's getting rewarded this year on the score sheet. She was the league leader in points up until the weekend, is second in the league in points. So, yeah, congratulations.
According to Esports Desk.
According to Esports Desk. we
think-
are going to get in so much trouble from someone at Esports Desk. It's going to be... we love you. Difficult job. Let's acknowledge it's a difficult job, and they can only do what they can do, right? So we're not, we love the volunteers, but one thing that we really need, and it's so difficult to cover this sport without being able to tell its stories with confidence and with accuracy, and that's why we bring it up time and again, because that's what we need. That's how you get sponsors on board, when you're able to tell the stories of the sport. I'm just trying to cover myself there, Doogie.
I only say that because I had a graphic I made up, a points leader one, and it was Shana Godfrey. And then I said to Gordon, "Can you post that today?" And then Gordon comes back with me. No, it's Aparicio sitting on top. But yeah, we love everyone who helps out and volunteers. That's what it's all about. And it's what we do with Hockey Hype as well. One of the things that I noticed from the weekend, before we move off the rush and look towards next weekend's games, Shana Godfrey went goalless on Sunday for the first time in 9 games. And that would have played a major role in the result. Godfrey is one of the best goal scorers, point scorers, and I don't think Shana's going to have too many weeks where there's no goals going into the back of the net.
No. She'll be. It's yeah. She'll be back. She'll be back for sure. Oh yes, and a shout out. Rush versus Ducks this weekend. That is the Ducks' final exhibition games. Are we able to? No, they're not official AWHL exhibition games, but they are games between 2 teams. One team happens to play in the AWHL. So yes, so they'll be playing down at Ice HQ. The last time the Melbourne Ducks played, they played the Sirens in a pair of exhibition games, and it split the series. Big improvement from the Ducks, of course, looking to get into the league next season. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, good luck to both teams. Hopefully no injuries. Joe just mentioning our juniors will get ice time. So that's a good thing. Yeah, that's good for their development too.
It's good for the Ducks as well. I think from what I can see anyway, is that it's all gone pretty well for the Ducks in the games that they've held out at Ice HQ. We all know the Ducks are trying to get a license to come into the A-Dub. So good luck to them, and we'll see down the line in the future what the outcome is with the Ducks and their license application. Before we move on from the ice, there was something I was going to mention. Oh yes, I was just going to say I don't think they're stressing too much about the result on the weekend. The ice, I think it's just 2 good teams that'll be in the finals and competing hard. That those fixtures can go either way on any given weekend. So I don't think the Ice are stressing out too much about the result on Sunday. If you got any comments, chuck them in the chat. If you're on the YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram Live, chuck a comment in there. Let us know. Do you want to move on, GG, to Week 10 preview?
Yes. Week
10. I probably could have, and I've only thought of this right now. And the Adelaide Rush Instagram account will be saying these guys have been drinking tonight. I probably could have done Sirens v Lightning, and not Week 10 preview, because it's only those games this weekend. But it is the Sirens against the Lightning. The Sirens will travel up to Brisbane to face the Lightning. It's a 5 p.m. puck drop on the Saturday and a 3:30 p.m. puck drop on the Sunday. After the result on Sunday, and the fact that the Sirens are still mathematically a chance to make finals, they're pretty massive games now. And from what you've seen from the Sirens leading up to Sunday all season and how much they've battled and started playing hard, you don't know what that sort of result on Sunday can do for the group. And you're seeing the scenes after the final horn and how excited they were and rushing onto the ice and that sort of stuff. They will be going up there and they'll be feeling really good about themselves.
Yeah, I think so. Man, I'm just gonna keep bringing it back to Sydney Swans AFLW. But I remember at the start of their first season, they said that the hardest thing was going to be their second win, and after that, then it would be okay. So I think for the Sirens, the Lightning will not be complacent towards the Sirens this weekend. They will have seen the result. They will have seen their performance against the Inferno. There's going to be no surprises. It's going to be game on. They're not going to give them an inch. So it should be like a real battle. And this is great for, let's be honest, the Sirens are well and truly up against it to make finals. But these are meaningful games. And for a young group to be playing meaningful games is huge for their development. So, it's going to be a great series. We're calling both games, which is such a privilege to call AWHL games. Such a privilege. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a cracker.
And the fact that the Sirens will travel up to Brisbane and they'll play Brisbane this weekend, then the following weekend Brisbane will travel down to Sydney and play the Sirens. So they've got each other in the next 4 games consecutively. So depending on how the results fall this weekend, that series the following week in Sydney could even be even bigger. And you'd really hope that they get a big crowd out to both series.
Look, and we called the Brisbane Lightning Perth series, those 4 games, and there was some real teams hated each other, by the end of that. And at least with the Rush and the Ice, they get a weekend off in between because they play each other 4 times in a row. Brisbane Sydney, it's 4 games in 9 days, so it should be really interesting. It'll have that kind of playoff hockey kind of series feel to it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's getting pretty chippy by game 3 or 4.
And we have no insight at all, but I'm just assuming that both teams will get players back for this series. Players like Georgia Watts, Katie Meyer, Hannah Cryan, those sort of names. You would assume will be back for these 2 games this coming weekend, which is massive again. So the two teams get stronger once again, and it'll. When I looked at the Sydney Sirens leading up to last weekend, and we're going through the stats, GG, and we're sort of putting down some notes for when we do our coverage because that's how professional we are. We looked at the Sirens and it was like, where's the points going to come from? Who's going to? And then all of a sudden, Newmark pops up with a hat trick, and you get Borg popping up with a goal. And then all of a sudden, when you look at the Sydney Sirens statistically now and the roster, maybe things are starting to turn and they're starting to get some production. It's not just Edney just blasting goals from the blue line or coming into the crease and putting one away.
Yeah, no, and you add in a Hannah Cryan who will return from Gang 1 and what that experience has done for her, and we mentioned Lily Roberts and Fiona Moon, and them not being part of the team. Brisbane's also going to get Georgia Watts back, who played both Watts and Cryan played big roles. Tara Baker as well for Melbourne, Grace Kalambokas for Adelaide. There's these players that I saw when I was watching the games where I'm like, this is going to be unreal for your AWIHL team, the confidence and the experience you'll get. So, Yeah, it should be a great contest. Stephanie Newmark, she was one that at the start of the season I thought would be a big point producer for the Sirens based on her contribution last season, and finally it looks like the the damn wall is broken kind of thing, and she got those goals in the cluster, so should be a good contest.
And one player that I know that you spoke about last week when we had Matt Meyer on, if the Lightning can get Shanita Crompton back as well, who hasn't played since they travelled to Perth before Christmas last year, that'll be massive for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely massive. She's such a when you watch her in the game, the space that she creates for others, because she'll just skate like kind of serpentine through the offensive zone and just create havoc for the defense, having to switch to be able to cover. So yeah, hopefully she's back. Hopefully Jamie Goonan is back too. Jamie Goonan has missed the last, I want to say, 2 series, and she's such a big, someone at the blue line that keeps the puck in, holds it in, and clears the front of the net. So yeah, hopefully strength meets strength. Just got some comments. Joe Phyllis, are you calling finals? We would love to call finals. We have no idea if that's gonna happen or not. I think the Melbourne, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We don't have any Melbourne games, and we rarely call games played in Melbourne. We rarely schedule them, so we'll see how we go. And Andrew, John Egan got their tails up now. Yeah, definitely the Sirens do. We will be in Melbourne for finals, so we'll either be working or we'll be watching the game in some form.
Before we wrap it up here, I just wanted to give a shout out to Abby Brown from the Lightning. When we do these 3 stars of the week, it's voted by the fans, and the players obviously get involved too and chuck their votes in as well. But Abby Brown was absolutely wrapped. The fact that she was in there with the 2nd star from last weekend's, not the weekend just gone, the one before. So yeah, shout out to Abby Brown. We love getting the feedback from the players when they see themselves in the stars of the week. So I just wanted to throw that one in there, GG.
Yeah, and like sometimes with the like it's the fan vote, so the fans can do whatever they like, and sometimes you've got a ton of whatever fans, and they will have lost both games, but they're still voting in their 3 players, and that's okay. You go for it. But yeah, Abby Brown had a sensational weekend, scored some big goals in that weekend, so well deserving of a shout out. So yeah, that's great. It's always good to get good feedback every now and then.
I think that might just about do us. If there's no more comments in there to read out, GG.
I've got one from Sean O'Connor. We need to get the player headshots so we can start putting in the player images to the stars of the week graphics. We do. How much do I say here? I would love one thing that the league is missing. I'm just going to go on a rant here. One thing that I wish the league had was like a central repository for photos that could be used by media and the league, etc. Because I think I just see I had a chat with Phil Taylor about this too, and the AIHL has started doing that over the last couple of seasons, which it's got teething issues and stuff, but I think in principle it's good, and it's going to benefit teams. But I think the history of this league is so fragmented. It would be great to have resources in kind of a central kind of spot. That's the end of my rant. I'm gonna be fired by the end of the show. I don't know who would fire me, but no one's paying me. But still,
just on images.
Yeah, Phil Taylor, Peter Podlaha, and Frank. Is that Frank Cooch? But pay them something. Yeah, 100%. Phil Taylor told me about how much the I'm not going to say because he may not want me to say, but the amount of monetary value of the equipment that he brings into a rink is mind blowing. And looking to get he's looking to get other equipment for different shots and different things. And he had a remote camera for the Ice v Rush game. Talking about maybe getting a net camera in the net, and it's all out of his own money. It's all out of his own money. And what we do is all out of our money, and we really, they need to sponsor the photographers to cover costs.
Yeah, well, we seen what Phil brought into the NHL Global Series when Phil was there with us, all the equipment that Phil had, and Peter, who is Injected Ideas Photography, has been around for. I've known Peter since back in On the Fly Hockey days. We were collaborating back then between 2010 and 15. So Peter's been around for a long, long time. So I totally agree. Look after these people who do wonders for the sport. Is that about it, GG? You reckon?
I hope so.
You've had enough.
Oh, I don't think. So tired.
Yeah, me too, mate. I'm on 3 weeks holidays from work, so I'm buggered. We are hockeyhypeaustralia.com.au. We are Hockey Hype Australia. You can find us at hockeyhypeaustralia.com.au. We are on the social. We are on the. This is going so well. We're on the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X at Hockey Hype AUS. We are on LinkedIn whenever GG wants to post something. I don't know when he does. Subscribe to our YouTube, please. Subscribe, like, and share our YouTube. These shows go up live, but also what we do is we clip these shows into segments. So if you're a Sydney Sirens fan or a Lightning fan, Rush fan, Ice fan, whatever you are, we clip them into segments so you don't have to watch the whole show if you don't want to. You can go back and just click on whatever tickles your fancy and what team you go for. So subscribe to our YouTube, please. It's slowly growing, and you'll like what we've got over there. We post up shorts as well. From Andrew McDougall, he is Gordon good enough. I think that just about does this, GG.
Yeah, no, thanks for listening. Thanks for your support and comments and engagement. It makes it a lot of fun. So thank you for leaving your comments. And yeah, it's been great. What a weekend. Only 12 more games to go in the season. So we're on the home stretch.
Yep. How many games are we calling?
7 of 12.
Beautiful. Looking forward to every single one of them.
Should be good.
All right, GG. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We love you all, and we'll see you next week.